Hey, Kevin.
Hello, Rebecca.
Are you ready for an action-packed readathon?
Oh, my goodness, yes.
There's been so much going on, and I have so much to tell you about that.
Okay.
Some of these things I'm just going to have to whip through, and other things I'm going to have to give an overview of. So I want you to be able to react to all of them, but we've got a lot to cover today. Are you ready?
I'm ready. We started talking a little bit about this on like Friday. Like some things were coming in, and
Yeah,
it was like, oh, this is going to be a good readathon next time.
There's more.
Okay.
All right, so let's start with a couple of easy items that I can get through quickly. Chris Albert. Remind me who Chris Albert is.
Chris Albert is the brother of Brian Albert, the homeowner, and he is a city councilman in Canton.
Selectman.
Yes.
Selectman,
and he also is the proprietor of a pizza shop.
Yes, C&E Pizza. He is
which
also
is located next to one of the bars
CF McCarthy's, yes.
where the folks were allegedly overserved, or at least where the group was drinking before the after party.
Correct.
Okay.
So Chris Albert is one of the many people in the Albert...
By the way, good signposting,
Very
as we
good.
always say. Yes.
Yeah, very good. He's one of the many people in the Albert McCabe group who claims that he has been the target of relentless harassment, intimidation, and a fear campaign.
And Patreon-exclusive podcasts.
Yes, by Karen Reed supporters,
Yep.
right?
Okay.
He had to apologize publicly in a Canton Select Board meeting because of an incident that took place outside of CF McCarthy's, where a woman named Jill Daniels, who's his sister-in-law, attacked Aiden Carney, which we'll get to in a couple minutes, along with another guy. And he came out of the pizza shop and was screaming epithets and so forth. He had to publicly apologize and say, because I'm a public official, I was out of line. I shouldn't have behaved that way. Okay.
Yeah.
So last week, there was a woman outside of his pizza shop who got out of her car and did nothing other than walk over to the window of her car. And I guess as part of, I don't know if she was doing it specifically for him, but as part of a protest she was doing in town that day, went over with one of those windshield markers and wrote on her own passenger window, FKR.
Okay.
Which stands for Free Karen Reed.
Yeah.
And there is security footage from inside the pizza shop that was briefly leaked onto Twitter. A person who tweets on behalf of the anti-Karen Reed side frequently, who is obviously very much aligned with these folks.
One of these sock puppets
Yeah.
that doesn't say, okay.
She's not a sock puppet. She's a real person.
Oh, okay. All right.
Briefly tweeted this on behalf of Chris Albert and then immediately took it down.
And what was the tweet?
The tweet was Chris Albert inside of his pizza shop on security cam footage calling this woman a disgusting bitch.
Okay.
Very afraid, apparently. Very afraid.
That she pulls up in front of the pizza place.
She's just
takes
in the
out
street,
the marker.
Yeah.
And does she park the car? Does she drive away?
She was parked.
Yeah.
All the video shows is him calling her a disgusting bitch and a loser. And she's just like, if you see this video, you would understand how unbelievably benign this activity was. It didn't even look like she was like addressing him in any way. Like it looked like she was actually just
She didn't take this marker thing and write it on his window.
No. And she also didn't do anything like raise the finger. She didn't leave anything on the ground. She literally just wrote FKR, and he's inside and he calls her a disgusting bitch and a loser. Look at this loser. And it's just like, it just sort of underscores the larger point, kind of takes away from the credibility of I'm afraid of these people, they're scaring me, when you are also calling them disgusting bitches and losers after you've apologized to the public for your commentary and discourse about the public in a public meeting. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, right.
All right.
Yeah.
So speaking of CF McCarthy's and C&E Pizza, a probable cause has been found to charge Jill Daniels and Jim Ferris with assault for that incident that took place outside of CF McCarthy's.
On Turtle Boy, the one that we did the readathon about.
Yes, we did a readathon about this where Aiden Carney was at CF McCarthy's getting a meal of food with his girlfriend.
Meal of food, yes.
Meredith, and came outside, and a man named Jim Ferris apparently also took his phone, whatever, and then Jill Daniels whipped up in her white SUV, comes flying out of the car, starts screaming at him, also knocks his phone out of his hand. So probable cause has been found to charge them with assault. There is going to be hearing.
On fucking video, the whole world saw.
The whole thing. Their hearing is going to be on October 11th, I believe.
Okay.
And there is, interestingly enough, part of it is Jim Ferris acknowledging that he knows he committed assault in a series of text messages he sent to a man named Vic. in which this man named Vic says, how could you have assaulted him if he didn't get the shit knocked out of him? Because, these people are awesome.
Yeah,
and Jim
they
says,
think they know the law. Yeah.
And Jim says, Vic, I knocked his phone into the street, and that's assault and battery in Massachusetts. So Jim knows.
How did these text messages come to light?
People share this shit all over the place.
So Vic probably.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Good job, Vic.
Yeah.
Way to keep a confidence.
All right. So following up on another earlier, these are all follow-ups, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
Other earlier episode, I did a whole episode about online culture around this case.
Right.
Do you remember the story that I told, reported here, which other people have reported too, it's not original reporting, about what happened to an account on Twitter that went by the handle Braden Carney, but the actual handle was Chief Sharkman?
Yeah, so the transition between these two stories is during that assault, when Jill jumped out of the car, she was holding her own cell phone, and we could see that the contact on the phone was somebody labeled as Braden Carney.
Correct.
Okay.
And that person also, with the person with the same name, tweeted with the handle @Chief Sharkman.
Chief Sharkman.
Now,
okay.
This account, no matter what your opinion is on the Karen Read case, whether you think she's guilty or not, or don't think she hit him with her car, was a disgusting account. It called for Karen Read to be murdered. It called for Karen Read to be beaten to death. It called Karen Read the C word. It called out other people who were advocates in the case. Like one of them had her grandfather had died by fighting a wildfire, and the account said, "Oh, your grandfather died in a fire trying to get away from you." It was a disgusting account. The account was ultimately taken down by the feds.
The feds?
After it threatened Josh Levy, the U.S. attorney for the District of Massachusetts, after tweeting, "Hey, Joshua Levy, little Joshy," that's the U.S. attorney, "Paul O'Keefe has been looking for you. He just wants to talk. I would talk to him. Don't make this difficult. You won't like what happens if you do."
There's a threat at the end.
It's just not good.
Yeah.
All right. So then the same account, the same person, started another Twitter account. It's just so obviously the same person. You can tell for many reasons. Most of all because they didn't deny it in their Twitter feed. Okay. Called Deputy Man Shark. Chief Sharkman to Deputy Man Shark. With another variation of the Braden Carney name.
Okay.
Started doing exactly the same thing. Calling for Karen Read to be killed, beat up, calling her the C word, saying horrible things about her supporters. Okay. So through a series of events that are very complicated, involving triangulation of handles, people liking people, retweeting people, following people they shouldn't be following, a web sleuth named Mike DeToli, who runs a Twitter account @ma_recall, which is a pro Karen Read account, figured out who the very likely owner of this account was. The very likely owner of this new Deputy Man Shark account and the Chief Sharkman account was. Okay.
So was it somebody who was inside the party? One of the Mick Alberts?
No. A lot of people have suspected that it was. But allegedly this account is run by a Medford man named Steven Zabrowski.
You said it wrong. Medford. Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I am only telling you this, and I would not normally tell you this because it would be gossipy and whatever, if it weren't for what occurred immediately afterwards, which I believe proves that Steven Zabrowski is in fact the person running this account. Okay,
sure.
Mike DeToli started engaging with this account on Twitter and saying, like, "I know who you are this guy, and I'm going to come talk to you today." And the account was like, "You better not do that. I'm not there. You won't. The person who's there won't like it when you show up or whatever." So this guy goes to Steven Zabrowski's apartment building, rings the bell, and says, "I want to talk to you." And it's like about Twitter or whatever. The guy comes downstairs and immediately is like, "I don't know anything about Turtle Boy or Karen Read." Like the guy knows why he's there.
That's his lead.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So basically, DeToli had never told Zabrowski why he's there, or why he's not on the phone. He just started talking to him. So basically, this is their communication through the buzzer thing, right? This is their communication through the buzzer thing. They just started talking to him about coming downstairs so they can talk about Twitter, and he's just like, "I don't know anything about Karen Read. I don't know anything about Turtle Boy." So he would, a random person who had nothing to do with any of this, if someone were to ring on their doorbell, would be like, "Who are you? Why are you here?" They wouldn't immediately respond with, "I don't know anything about Karen Read or Turtle Boy." Correct?
Yeah.
So this man, Steven Zabrowski, his uncle is, guess who?
A Boston cop.
Yes. Not any Boston cop, however. A Boston cop named Michael Talbot, who has many IA complaints against him and an internal affairs score of 4, which is, quote, very concerning.
4 out of 5, right?
I guess so. And Michael Talbot works with or has worked alongside Brian Albert, the homeowner, at 34 Fairview, and they work together
Probably even John O'Keefe at some point, right? I mean, they're all in the same department. They would be acquaintances.
John O'Keefe did never worked with Brian Albert. John O'Keefe worked in the sexual assault against children division.
Oh, okay. All right.
And Brian Albert was a murder detective, and this guy...
They shared the same locker room. Come on.
Anyway, these two worked together on the Aaron Hernandez case and lots of other cases.
Work closely
They
together.
were clearly, they're clearly buddies.
Okay.
Michael Talbot and this guy, okay?
Michael Talbot and Brian O'Keefe.
And Brian Albert, yes.
Yeah.
And there is this whole other thing that I'm not going to get too into, which is intriguing if people want to look at it, about these people are looking at Venmo screenshots between all these people. There appears to be a poker game or a series of poker games that happens where a lot of these cops play poker together.
Okay,
Buchanan among them, Albert, this guy. And this guy, Zabrowski, apparently was at some point potentially tied to this pool of Venmo transactions.
Okay.
So that would,
this guy's, again, he's not a cop.
No, he's just like a guy who works at like a medical device company.
But he's related to a cop who has worked closely with Brian Albert.
Yeah, he's part of that tribe through association. Okay, so that's another quick story. Here's another quick one that, I'm going to let the sort of story read for itself. I'm going to put the link in the show notes to Olivia Lambeau's tweets. You know who Olivia Lambeau is?
I remember seeing clips. I don't watch her on YouTube, but she's a YouTube lawyer. I remember seeing clips of her in the documentary about Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Yes.
And, she gives her hot takes and her live commentary. Like I said, and she is an attorney, so she's not like us just talking out of our ass. Right.
She's sort of like the TikTok Susan Simpson is how I think of her.
Sure.
Okay, so she makes a lot of content. She she like does quasi investigative and quasi commentary. She's a little more on the commentary side than Susan Simpson, but she was actually following the Alec Baldwin trial very carefully, and she's the person I looked at every day for the Alec Baldwin trial because I couldn't tell what the hell was going on because I was dipping in and out of it. And she was like the first person I saw that called that trial was messed up, right? So she has now switched entirely to following this case. And she posted a very interesting thread the other day, a thing that other people have brought up, by the way, on Reddit and elsewhere. And it came up in the trial, but came up and went so quickly that no one really paid attention to it, which is that the state's expert on Jen McCabe's cell phone, it works at a place called Cellbrite.
Okay.
Which is the gold standard place that analyzes cell phone stuff. Cellbrite, right?
Okay. It's a company. Okay.
It's a company. On their website, Cellbrite talks about what's necessary to verify information. And one of the things they talk about to show that information has not been tampered with on a cell phone is something called a hash value, okay?
A hash value, okay.
Yes, a hash value
it's like metadata, right?
Okay. It's a unique fingerprint. It shows that data has not changed, basically from when it was extracted to when I gave it to you.
Okay.
That's a very simple way of putting it, okay? So Whiffen testified that he analyzed McCabe's cell phone extraction, but it had no hash value.
And who is Whiffen?
Whiffen was the state's expert who I guess at one point had worked for Cellbrite, and his testimony on Jen McCabe's cell extraction included data that did not have this hash value attached to it.
Now, this is important because this is the House Long to Die in Cold.
Has Long to Die in Cold, whether or not it took place at 227, in addition to her many other deleted texts and voice memos and so forth to the Alberts that morning, back and forth. And she had many deleted phone calls, deleted texts. She was allowed to delete texts.
It's funny, you look back at how the state is trying to grab evidence from their own witness.
Right.
Trying to recover digital evidence from their own witness in anticipation, really, of the defense's claim.
Right. So he was actually asked on the stand about the importance of hash values. And he said it's potentially possible that the data was altered, right? But it would require a large amount of knowledge and skill to do it in a way that can't be detected. That's what he said on the stand.
Okay, yeah.
Now, keep in mind, this data had been in the hands of cops whose job is these cell phones extractions, namely Troopers Guarino and Tully.
And why do we know those names?
Well, Trooper Guarino obviously was a witness in the Karen Read case, but Trooper Guarino was also the trooper in charge of the Sandra Birchmore phones. He said he found no communication between her and Officer Farwell, and the FBI later found more than 30,000 text messages between the two of them.
Good job. Good job.
So if anybody...
And was one of these the guys who who testified to the... the going up and down the stairs. They said
Correct.
That's
Squarino. Guarino also pulled, stuff from the car system. He's a technically adept guy. And, let's just say if he's capable of saying there's nothing on the phone between Farwell and Birchmore, clearly he has the knowledge to alter data on somebody else's retrieved information, right?
Okay. So we've got two troopers who collect the digital information, or they collect information and they pass it along to the state's expert, who used to work for the Gold Standard company.
Right.
And was this...
I believe he still does.
Okay.
Yeah. But the question is, why would he testify to this? Is the answer is that he just trusted that the information was good? I don't know. But
doesn't have the hash value, but I have faith.
Because it would take so much knowledge to do it, right? But he wasn't subject to voir dire. No one said that this wasn't admissible. By the way, the expert on the defense side at one point says this data has been altered. So it had been called into question before.
Okay. It's been refuted. Okay.
That being said, there is a lot of debate on Twitter right now as to whether or not this hash value even matters. We happened to be at a friend's house over the weekend watching football.
Oh, you brought this up with him?
A friend who is a MIT-trained engineer who is, we should just say, really, really wealthy because of many companies that he's bought and sold around technology involving the internet and cell phone use.
He probably could have been called as a witness.
And
there's an expert witness.
He said, I saw your tweet about the thing with the cell phone data, and holy shit, that's bad. Exactly how, doesn't that sound like him?
Yeah, it does.
Exactly what he said. And I was like, oh, so there's something to that hash value thing, because I don't know anything about it. As you saw in my tweet, I'm not a subject matter expert. He goes, oh, no, that's bad. That's bad. Okay, and that was the extent of our conversation. Okay, so I'll put the link to Olivia Lambeau's thread there. You can decide for yourself whether it's bad or not. Okay.
So do we have any idea if it actually is easy to remove the hash value? Or
according to this guy, it is, but who knows?
This guy says that it's nearly impossible.
He says it would require knowledge and skill. But you know what else requires knowledge and skill? Extracting data from a fucking cell phone.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so next story. This is a big one. I thought this was going to be a different version of this story because I told you about this also last week.
Last thing on that, because it just popped in my head.
This isn't the last thing.
No, going back, he just said it requires knowledge and skill. So only somebody who knows how to manipulate data could manipulate the data.
Correct.
Okay, got it. All right, gotcha. All right, moving on.
So last week, there were a series of arrests and visits to what I call the Rubber Ducky Brigade, right? These are people in Canton who have been taking these small rubber ducks, tiny, by the way, like this big. I'm like the size of a plum.
Okay.
And writing things like Free Karen Read, FKR, If You Know, You Know, Colin Was in the House, whatever. And then just leaving them around Canton. Like
and the ducks have become a symbol because Jackson said, if it walks like a duck, quacks like a duck,
Yes, finally figured that out.
Okay.
So I was actually going to tell you about a series of visits, new visits and arrests that Buchanan made and visits that he made. And there was body cam stuff that had been transcribed. And the interviews with these people, women, were ridiculous. In one of them, the woman says, how is this a threat? It's just a duck. And he's like, you're right, it's just a duck. Like, even he knows it's just a duck.
Yeah, right.
That's what I was going to tell you about. So keep in mind, that happened, and we have feelings about it. But over the last couple of days, a Canton police officer named Tim Taylor, who's a lifelong resident, he also, by the way, is a police officer responsible for killing his dog by leaving him in a hot car in July of 2023, which resulted in a big police response, including all the Canton police officers bringing his dog's body to the town incinerator and setting up a little investigation, which he was completely cleared of. He has spent the last 6 months investigating a man named Richard Schiffler. Richard Schiffler is the owner of a business called Canton Fence.
Okay, puts up like chain link fences.
Yes.
Okay,
Canton
sure.
Fence has had a big sign outside of the business that says Free Karen Read on it.
Okay.
This clearly stoked the ire of someone. So his 6-month investigation ended up with an arrest and 12 counts against Schiffler, including felony witness intimidation, criminal harassment, and littering. Now, Schiffler has never made contact with any witnesses in the case, and he's being charged with all of this. And there are many referrals in the report to what's called, quote, propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
So I will say one thing. The premise of Taylor's theory of the crime is that an alternate suspect theory of the crime was disproven at the Karen Read trial because of Colin and Chris's and Brian's and Jen McCabe's testimony at the trial.
Nothing was resolved. Nothing was resolved at the trial. Okay.
He says that because of that testimony in the trial, all of these things are demonstrably false, and therefore anything being said otherwise publicly is a propagandic harassment and a lie.
That seems like a civil issue for those people and not a criminal matter for the state of Massachusetts.
Actually, for the town of Canton.
For the town of Canton, excuse me.
All right. So this report has some wild stuff in it. Okay.
Tell me.
All right. So it has like more than 100 articles on it. So I'll just read you a couple of them. Item 8, this investigation, as further described below, has been ongoing for 6 months. It has included letters of preservation, the execution of search warrants, surveillance, which included my own observations of several crimes committed, witness statements, some of whose identity is otherwise being withheld at this time due to fear of retribution, similar to that of which is further described throughout this investigation. Wonder who that could be, right?
Surveillance.
Yes, surveillance, okay?
Wow, okay. As far as we know, he put up a sign.
Yes.
And passively done.
Well, he also had ducks and stickers.
Okay, ducks and stickers. Okay.
All right. I'm just going to read this to you. The testimony and evidence in the trial, I'm paraphrasing here, made it impossible for Colin Albert to be a suspect in John O'Keefe's death, contrary to the conspiracy theory that Colin Albert murdered John O'Keefe. This conspiracy has led to various harassment and littering incidences, including, but not limited to, the use of the tagline, Colin did it, stamped in red ink on counterfeit $100 bills, and the same phrase attached to yellow rubber duckies via a sticker. These incidents have led to a social movement that has harassed Chris and Colin Albert, telling them to, quote, tell the truth, that they cannot, quote, duck the truth about John O'Keefe's death. Both have given testimony contradictory to this conspiracy theory. Therefore, these incidents are intended to persuade both of them to alter their previous given testimony. That's the witness intimidation theory.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In total, approximately 70 counterfeit $100 bills. If you saw these bills, by the way, calling them counterfeit is a ridiculous thing to write in here, because counterfeit implies intent to use them to buy something. Counterfeit money is a crime. It's actually a federal crime that the Secret Service investigates, right?
Right.
Counterfeit money, the definition of it is fake money that you could be potentially used to buy things. This was play money. Okay?
Yeah. Well, they also could do depending on how good the artwork is.
Yeah, this is something that's
clearly not. Yeah, okay.
This is play money.
Okay.
In total, approximately 70 counterfeit $100 bills stamped with justice for BPO John O'Keefe, stamped on the front and Colin did it, stamped in the back were recovered on April 26th. 36 ducks with Colin did it were recovered. Okay. So it talks about the ongoing harassment. Incidents have caused emotional injury, but particularly economic injury to the family business. They looked in his trash, Kevin.
Okay.
On Wednesday, April 10th at approximately 12:50 p.m., I, along with Detective Barber of the Stoughton Police Department, this was a multiple jurisdiction investigation.
Stoughton. Why do I know the name? Why from Stoughton?
Sandra Birchmore.
Oh, okay. That's right. Yeah.
Conducted a trash pull at 125 Lake Drive in Stoughton, Mass. Oh, I should beep out the address. Well, it's in the report. Prior to our arrival, the rear hopper was emptied. There was a single trash barrel out front. The contents of the trash barrel were emptied into the rear of the trash truck by me, Detective Taylor. The contents of the barrel were 3 trash bags. They went through his fucking trash.
What is it? Okay.
Items retrieved were an empty prescription medication bottle prescribed to Richard Schiffer, a white box, an Amazon package envelope, and a FedEx envelope. The white box was a white box with partially washed off blue ink that stated Justice for BPO John O'Keefe, last watch 2922. The font style is exact same that was used on the prop money, see he calls it props here, $100 bills that had been previously littered in the area of D&E Pizza and Subs on several occasions. A sticker attached to the box stated in summary, JFHY 1000 birthday. A Google search of this information yields the first link as an Amazon page where this prop money of $100 bills can be purchased, etc. A photo was taken, etc. They appeared to be identical. The FedEx package with a phone number and a reference number they copied down. And then they sent a warrant to the fucking sticker company. Okay? Imagine if they had investigated John O'Keefe's murder like this, right? Okay. Detective Theodore contacted a representative at makestickers.com. Upon his being answered, he identified himself. He explained he was looking to inquire about the order that had been shipped to this address. He was asked to provide a reference number. He provided it, blah, blah, blah. The Make Stickers rep stated that the order contained 250 1-inch clear stickers that stated Colin did it. So basically, they did this warrant, they found out that he ordered this. They could have just fucking asked him if he ordered the stickers, but they had to search his trash, call the sticker company, do this whole investigation, okay? They then spoke to the president of MakeStickers.com, okay? He said he would only be willing to provide customer information requested upon being served a legal process, which I guess he was. And he applied for and was granted a search warrant to command Make Stickers to furnish additional information in regard to the sticker order. Do you want to see what they found? Yeah. They found a PDF copy of an order for 6 4x-inch oval car stickers that contained the initials CFC with CantonFence.com under them. The fence guys with CantonFence.com on 6-inch by 4-inch stickers. So basically, this guy was ordering stickers for his business from MakeSticker.com, and that became part of this report. Okay?
Okay.
Seriously, can you imagine if this energy had been put into anything else they investigate?
Yeah.
Okay. Then they go to Canton. They go to the Canton fence, okay? They execute a search warrant for this guy's truck, his Toyota Tundra truck.
Is this also they can verify that he was the one who purchased this material?
I guess so.
Yeah, okay.
Right?
Yeah, all right.
He says his truck goes back and forth to his work, blah, blah, blah. He replied, he said he only littered, did not commit a crime. He handed him the key fob to his truck. I then brought out the key fob to Norfolk County District Attorney Digital Forensics Division technicians to perform their download. They wanted to download the data from the infotainment system on his truck because of ducks and stickers.
The infotainment?
Correct. The purpose of this search was to conduct a download of the infotainment system data from the 2023 Toyota Tundra.
The search warrants for this are super broad.
You think?
Wow. Okay.
All right. So he informed him he was a subject of a criminal investigation, yada, yada, yada. He read him his Miranda rights. When asked if he understood his rights, he signed them, yada, yada. When technicians were inside Schiffer's truck, I opened the rear side to enter and observed the downloading of the digital evidence. Upon opening the door, directly in front of me in plain sight was an uncovered open box. In plain sight, Kevin, this box contained, wait for it, a yellow duck. Identical to the ones that have been the subject of this investigation.
A bloody glove.
Additionally, in the box was an open paper bag. This bag contained 37 yellow ducks that had the Colin Did It sticker attached. Next to this brown paper bag was a clear Ziploc-style bag that contained multiple Colin Did It stickers. These items were later seized as evidence. Okay. All of this, again, follows more arrests and visits by state police with some insane body cam exchanges between Buchanan and these people who are just like, I honestly had no idea this could potentially be a crime. I thought I was protesting, blah, blah, blah. And they were like, no. Honestly, one of these exchanges is like, no, you were just protesting, but you have to think of the feelings of these people.
Yes.
That's why it's a crime. Yep. Is kind of what Buchanan says. I showed you the transcript, right?
So that's accurate.
What are your thoughts about this story about this arrest of Richard Schiffler, about the fact that they have a 37-page report that was the result of a 6-month investigation. By the way, also cited in this investigation, the cop watched episodes of The Young Jerks, a YouTube show that is about the Karen Read investigation, read extensive Aidan Carney blogs. They talk about, watching media, looking at tweets, reading TikTok. Like, they talk about watching all that stuff. Very, very, very intense investigation.
Well, I would just say the only thing missing from your summary here is what does this affidavit claim that his actions were? There's a lot of information here about the extent that they went to verify that he purchased it.
That he put ducks on the street outside of C&E, and then he also put them around town.
And what about the stickers?
The stickers were on the ducks.
Stickers were on the ducks, and that's it.
That's it.
And just left the ducks around.
Yeah, this is the same thing the women were accused of that Buchanan visited. Okay. The ducks have become, by the way, a sign of protest.
Right.
And a lot of the ducks are really just about the town.
And their nexus to witness intimidation is that because those people testified to one thing, the intimidation is to get them to testify to a different thing, right?
Yes.
Right.
So one thing that you asked me this morning that was interesting, after I sort of ran this by you, where's the ACLU?
Yeah, because it just seems like they are going after protesters. Because like for like harassment, for threats, isn't there supposed to be an element of or else?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Like do this or else.
Yes.
And I just don't see that. But this all comes down to, it's very passive. You put the stuff around, they're being targeted by the police. They say for actions that are such weak tea, but like clearly they are being targeted because of their position.
Yes.
Right? They are being are they also going after people who are threatening and harassing Karen Read?
No.
Those people with signs?
No.
No, they aren't.
They're not. And you could call that intimidation, right? Because she's a potential witness.
Well, she's the defendant, right? I mean, she,
No.
She has constitutional rights. But if you're just going to say you can't harass, They're
not going after anybody who's talking shit about the ARCA guys on the internet using their real names.
No. I mean, their interest is because they have a relationship, affinity for this family of public officials and cops that they don't have for your family or for my family.
Well, they literally do. Yeah. Because, fun fact, not only was Chris a Canton cop.
Chris? Was a Canton cop before
Chris was a Canton cop.
Before the pizza place?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah. He's a disgraced Canton cop. And this officer, Taylor, has been seen personally escorting Chris in and out of town selectmen meetings. He's like his personal...
He's his bodyguard.
Exactly,
he's afraid. Okay.
His bodyman. Yeah. So he has a personal vested interest in this. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. No, it just like really seemed, because then there's a pattern. A lot of people have been arrested or threatened with arrest for what just seems like protected speech.
Yes.
That doesn't mean, even if you have a position, it doesn't mean that your actions can't rise to the level of some kind of criminal
That's right.
thing. You can't, earlier on we were talking about like the woman with the grease marker, right? If she had gone up to the pizza window and did that, that's probably, that's a different thing.
Yeah,
that's like
vandalism.
real vandalism. That's like really intimidation. There are things that you can, but to say like this is felony level witness intimidation, which is also what they charge Turtle Boy with, which is also what they're going, they're at least going after, they're reading the riot act to a lot of different people whose connection is they are Karen Read supporters.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know why someone like the ACLU isn't getting involved in like pointing out this pattern, which just seems to nakedly be about silencing protesters.
I don't know why either. They actually have defended Aidan Carney before in other cases. And by the way, I just want to say again, I disagree vehemently with many, many, many things that Aidan Carney thinks, believes, has written, tweets. I do sometimes maintain communication with him about this case. I think he's an essential journalist in this case. But even about this, he tweeted something racist about saying that they were comparing his indoctrination to Muslim terrorists or whatever. And I'm like, you don't have to fucking tweet that, little boy. You know, he does things that make me crazy. That, like, to me, like, absolutely, if I were just stumbling in this case right now, I would maybe discredit this dude. Then again, he can say that, like, lives in America.
He's protected,
right?
yeah.
Like, and so it's like, I just want to say, like, these people, even the ones who maybe say things out loud that you're like, that person shouldn't have said that, they have the right to say it. And I will just say it again. Yes, John O'Keefe was murdered. This story is also a corruption story. That's really what the story is. And that's why I think people are angry about it.
Yeah.
Speaking of corruption.
Yes.
The final item, and this is a complicated one.
All right. So
I'm just going to give you as much as I can without getting into the weeds, but I really recommend that folks just listen patiently and understand that I've been trying to untangle this actually for months, and I haven't talked about this on purpose for months because I haven't really understood it, but something happened this week that shed some light on it, so now I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
Aidan Carney has many charges against him. And among the cases against him are these felony witness intimidation charges. Okay?
Yep.
One of the people that is in the, like, quote, witness pile that he is accused of intimidating is a woman named Lindsay Gaetani. I don't know how to pronounce her last name exactly. That's what it looks like. I should also mention Lindsay Gaetani has accused him of sexual assault.
Okay.
This is why I haven't talked about this before. Okay? The charges against him for assault were dropped. They dropped very, very, very quickly after they were. She actually initially accused him just of assault and then sort of later turned it into sexual assault. It has evolved.
Okay.
Which is not an unimportant detail considering everything I'm about to tell you.
Okay.
I don't think I need to say the caveat that our default position here is to believe women and to not, like, be glib and opinionated about these kinds of things. But this is speaking about something else. Lindsay Gaetani became a, quote, witness. She was basically anointed as a witness on December 22nd, 2023. Okay? This was after the grand jury thing had been finished about him. Okay? So basically, she was given the role of a witness. Basically, like, oh, we're going to make you a witness now. That is not unimportant. It's also very important to tell you that Turtle Boy Aidan Carney has a very messy personal life. And I think in the early days of this, I don't know the timeline of his, like, breaking up with his wife and all that stuff, but he had a couple of relationships with people who are now sort of like on the fringes of this case, and a couple of them have become very virulent anti-Karen Reed people. Lindsay was apparently one of these people with whom he had a relationship. He doesn't deny that. But they had a relationship. Apparently he broke it off or tried to break it off. She then... and this is documented, and it's documented in a series of texts which were all submitted with this and stuff, so I'm comfortable telling you this. She teamed up with some other women, Kate Peters, who used to work for him, who's the one who tweets under the disgusting name Krusty Panties, and another woman, and they basically had this long conversation about kind of how to get back at him. And apparently, they basically came up with
how
this
to get back at him.
Yes.
Text. Okay.
They apparently came up with this idea of bringing in Mello. Now, Ken Mello is the special prosecutor that was hired to prosecute Aidan Carney in his felony witness intimidation cases. Okay. Ken Mello is charging the state, by the way, $400 an hour. I saw his invoice from February that had already racked up to $72,000.
$72,000 to prosecute Turtle Boy.
Correct. As of February. It is now September.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
Okay. So there was a hearing on this case last week. The hearing was very mysterious. It was almost completely a sidebar. And then after the hearing, there was a mysterious tweet by Aidan Carney who said something about Ken Mello is now going to be a witness for us. And needless to say, it went very well today. And we're like, what the hell could this be about? So this is what it's about. Are you ready for this?
I am ready.
It's going to take me a little bit of time to read, but I'm going to read it so you understand it.
Okay.
This is from Aidan Carney's attorney, whose name is Mark Betterow, and it is sent to Robert Cosgrove, Ken Mello, and the Special Assistant District Attorneys of the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office regarding the Commonwealth versus Aidan Carney. This letter supplements my September 12th letter. I'm not going to read all the numbers that are in here, okay? And provides additional information that compels Mr. Mello's withdrawal and a special assistant district attorney in any matters involving Aidan Carney. On December 28th, 2023, the Fall River Reporter published a lengthy interview between Mr. Mello and reporter Jess Machado. I will actually link that in the show notes as well. In that interview, which occurred sometime after December 23rd, Mr. Mello implied he had first-hand knowledge about events that led to Mr. Carney's indictment for allegedly intimidating witness Lindsay Gaetani on December 23rd, 2023. What was the date I told you where she was made a witness? December 22nd. She was made a witness December 22nd, and he allegedly intimidated her on December 23rd.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pause reading the letter there now because there's also this like very, very long Brady letter, which basically asks for a bunch of evidence to prove the following series of events, which seem to bear out based on information they have. And they're asking for more cell extractions and so forth to cement it. But they're basically asking Ken Mello to be a witness in the case so that they can say, yes, this is what happened, okay?
So they want to interrogate the prosecutor.
Correct.
Okay. Is that allowed?
We know it's allowed. It happened in the Alec Baldwin case.
Sure it did.
All right, so here's what happened. Here's what is alleged to have happened. Lindsay Gaetani, now that she is an indoctrinated witness, then contacts Aidan Carney. Now, keep in mind, they are no longer together, and she has been very vitriolic toward him online and in personal communications. And she basically says to him, I'm very sorry. I love you. I need to talk to you in person. Okay? These are all documented in the Brady report, in the Brady letter. They have quotes from some extractions that they have. Then while they are together, I believe he goes to her house, I believe. I'm not 100 on that. She then, in the bathroom, has communication with Mello. And she's basically like, don't call me now, whatever. I'm in the bathroom, blah, 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 blah.
And he's here.
He's here.
Okay.
Then she opens up a line or records, but it appears that they are listening live to whatever it is that's transpiring.
Wiretapping. Cool.
Between the two of them, okay? And
she's acting as an agent of the state.
She's acting as an agent of the state, and they have had extrajudicial communications about this.
Okay.
And what they are alleging, that what Aidan Carney's defense attorney is alleging, is that this was an entrapment plan, essentially, between the cops, Mello, and Lindsay Gaetani, in order to be able to slap him with more witness intimidation charges. But there's another twist here. Lindsay Gaetani, and there's also excerpts here that talk about why it is that they wanted to speak with her to begin with after they broke up. All they wanted to know was what he told her about the Karen Reed case. That's all they wanted to know. All of their questions to her, getting sort of her in, were about when you were together, what did he talk to you about, Karen? What did he say about apparently they asked her ceaselessly about the federal investigation. What did he tell you about the federal investigation? What was that about? She told them that the federal investigation was actually into the Norfolk District Attorney, Morrissey. She told them a bunch of stuff, and then they made her a witness, and then all of this happened. So what they are alleging, what the defense is alleging, is that this was basically a setup, that Mello made her a witness in order to set Carney up to commit an alleged crime. The assault, by the way, allegations came after all of this. He was arrested for this. He was let out. Then she accused him of assault. So just to be clear on the timeline of this.
Okay.
If there was an assault being committed at the time, Mello was listening in. He did not call the police at the time. There was no, I'm just saying, I'm not going to ever blame somebody for not calling the police when they're being assaulted, right? But Mello was listening in live to this interaction. If there was an assault being committed, it was not reported at the time. He did not call the police at the time. It's hard to imagine a scenario in which you are listening to a witness, someone's truly in danger, and you don't intervene, right? I do believe there was...
Especially if you're setting this up.
Correct. I believe there was an altercation of some kind, probably an argument, whatever, but like...
it was trying to elicit a threat, right?
Yes, and I guess there was an ugly confrontation, and I don't want to get too much into the weeds because I wasn't there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the tweets about it and any documentation I can find about this in the show notes so people can check out what it is that's out there. But apparently the judge took this very seriously. And apparently Ken Mello will be testifying at the next Aidan Carney hearing.
At the judge's order.
At the judge's
judge
order.
is going to allow that. Yeah. It's uncommon. It's super uncommon.
Yeah. So clearly, this is putting aside all these other allegations. I will say it is not difficult to look up Lindsay Gaetani and see some other stuff about other things Lindsay Gaetani has been involved in. She's a complicated person with a complicated and messy history. Mm-hmm. Somebody that Aidan Carney probably should have looked up before he started dating, frankly. Mm-hmm. But all of these women clearly, it's very clearly documented that they were working together to try and do something to him. Mm-hmm. And that Mello was brought up in their communications. One of them had direct line to Mello and said, I'm going to call him now. Mm-hmm. And that seems to be where this plan may have been hatched. What are your thoughts?
Well, there certainly seems to be, it's fishy. And it's certainly worth exploring this at trial. Because, there, as far as patterns, there is a lot of patterns here of the police and the district attorney going to extra effort to go after people for witness intimidation.
Right. The key sentence here in the Brady letter is this. You ready? Mm-hmm. The curious timeline of events leading to Mr. Carney's arrest requires Mr. Mello's testimony at trial. Only Mr. Mello can explain why he arranged to make Ms. Gaetani a witness against Mr. Carney by having D.L. Tully serve her with a grand jury summons on December 22nd, 2023, one day before Mr. Carney allegedly committed witness intimidation against Ms. Gaetani, and 2 days after Mr. Mello completed a grand jury investigation into alleged witness intimidation unrelated to Ms. Gaetani.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And you want to hear what they're requesting? Among the things they're requesting are an unaltered and complete extraction report from the cellular phone Lindsay Gaetani provided to Massachusetts State Police Detective Lieutenant Brian Tully and Trooper Nicholas Guarino.
Oh, it all comes back around.
On or about January 10th, 2024. So there's cell phone stuff. They want it. They want to know who she was communicating with when. Mm-hmm. They know that she was communicating with him while they were together and having this interaction. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's kind of a devastating Brady letter and making some very devastating claims if true. And I am definitely following this part of the story.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that the language in the letter is a little, it becomes, I don't want to say hyperbolic, but it reminds me of some of the flourishes that one reads in President Trump's legal filings that are sort of, they don't speak to the law. But kind of get a sense of what kind of attorney Aidan has. But he sounds like this is somebody who is definitely a fighter. And yeah, I guess one must reserve judgment, but it's just, she immediately becomes a witness. But again, a witness to what? It's a witness?
A witness to her own witness intimidation, apparently.
Yeah.
She's made a witness to her own witness intimidation. Yeah.
The only other nugget that I'm going to pull here, and it's something that I don't think that we've talked about, is that, when we talk about this federal investigation, which fascinates me endlessly, is that because we don't really, we know of its existence, but everything else is like conjecture and little bits and pieces. And we have long assumed, because it seems to be related to the Sandra Birchmore case, that the original federal investigation, federal grand jury, we assume was looking into perhaps police officers. Mm-hmm. Because they seem to know, the information that they were able to provide to the defense for the Karen Read trial certainly focuses a lot on the actions and the bad acts of state troopers.
Right.
But if she is accurate, if she is, if it's true and believable, it seems like perhaps the federal investigation is not about individual officers.
Correct.
It's about the district attorney's office.
Correct.
And these particular officers, they're assigned to be investigators for the district attorney. So I guess they're kind of part of the office. They're in the, they're in the orbit. But if the district attorney was under the belief that he is being investigated by the feds, it would lead me to believe more why the district attorney is going so hard on all these other things.
Yes, there was actually something that speaks to that. So Aidan Carney posted some of the discovery in this case. And one of the pieces of discovery in it was an incredible letter that Michael Morrissey sent to Verizon Wireless regarding a request.
Michael Morrissey is the district attorney.
The Norfolk County District Attorney. Asking for a request for Aidan Carney's cellular records from a period of time leading up to early August 2023. The day that search for records cut off was the day that the district attorney's office was notified of the federal investigation. And so, the theory there is that they want to know everything Carney knows about has he been talking to the feds? Has he been, by the way, is what Lindsay...
Has he been receiving information from the feds, or has he been supplying information from the feds, or both?
And Lindsay Gaetani said at one point that that's all they wanted to know from her is what has he been doing with the feds. So, and in this letter to Verizon, Morrissey says to Verizon, like, don't tell anybody I sent you this letter, which isn't uncommon, but still, it's like, don't tell anybody.
It's still discoverable. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, one final thing.
Yeah.
Final, like quick item.
All right.
C.F. McCarthy's has replied to the civil lawsuit John O'Keefe has filed against Karen Read, C.F. McCarthy's in the Waterfall.
Okay.
Among other things, they basically said they could not potentially have any knowledge of what happened to John O'Keefe. They also have said that they did not overserve anybody. And by the way, I think they have a good case there, considering the bar was full of cops. Would cops allow themselves to be overserved? I mean, granted, factually, yes. Yeah. But don't they have a good case?
Their liquor license, Don't
they have a good case, though?
Yes.
If we were overserving, wouldn't the cops say something?
We'd love to cross-examine those folks.
But they're also demanding a jury trial, which is, I think, I'm going to call your bluff, essentially, on this lawsuit. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think that this is the wrongful death suit filed by John O'Keefe's brother against Karen Read.
And parents and mother, yeah.
And other entities. Usually like in a civil, damages case like that, you bring in these other entities because they're the ones with money, right? You can go after the restaurant, the bars, because they have insurance and they have, and they can get some money there. And, Karen Read, they can demand money from her, that whether or not she has it. I mean, that's a whole other story. So that's not uncommon, certainly in a typical drunk driving case.
Yes.
Right, where there's injury. So they're going to argue, basically they're saying that whatever happened at the bar, they're going to say we didn't overserve, which is very standard, defense. But they're also going to say, well, what actually happened as far as the way this person lost their life had nothing to do with overserving anybody.
Right.
In other words, you can either take that as saying, look, this wasn't this isn't a drunk driving case.
Yep.
Right, because she hasn't been charged with drunk driving. And you also could say their legal theory is that he was killed not by a drunk driver.
Yes. He
was killed another way.
That's right.
So,
and they are going to be allowed to depose anybody they want. Right? They're going to be allowed to...
They could do the Alberts all again.
They could do the Alberts all again. They could catch the Alberts saying contradictory things to what they said in other testimony. By the way, in all these depositions, if they go forward with this and they depose people, I looked it up. All those depositions are discoverable in another criminal case. They're all discoverable.
Yep. The more times you talk...
And you can say...
The more likely you're going to... contradict yourself on something.
In yet another proceeding, did you say X? Anyway, so that was a marathon of a readathon, Kevin. Thank you so much for going over all of this with me. I'm going to post as much as I can in the show notes if folks want to look it up themselves. And we're on a fairly weekly-ish schedule right now, so let's try and keep it up and keep up with all the goings on here. I'm just so glad we finally found out who Braden Carney was. I was so curious about that. And
it's not one of the McAlberts. That's interesting.
It's McAlbert adjacent.
McAlbert adjacent, sure.
All right, let's leave it there, and we'll talk again soon.
Partners in Crime Media.